Okay, so welcome back, Chosen Collective. So, in this content, I will be talking about why I have been sent and how the process worked in order to get here, and why I'm here to help you all. How I found this text and why we are using it in this way. Since all this data and text will be very convoluted and esoteric, I'll try to summarize it in such an easy form that it is fictional and interesting to follow. All right, so I am the spirit guide, Oneness. I'm sent from the Source Creator as I descended through the 12 realms of dimensional realms to get to the third. Something happens. See, it's basically a sacrifice when this happens. So the way I'm going to explain it is, the Big Bang Theory. It's basically what happens to the soul in charge of everything turning into pieces of the whole. So what I'm saying is, you've heard of the theory of that each and every soul living on Earth is one piece of the entire universe. Well, I'll be able to explain it more through this diagram. So, as I descended to the 12th dimension, there was the explosion. I basically turned into billions of trillions of pieces of souls that basically would govern the 12 dimensions below in the Godhead source, as you can see. And in order to descend further, each and every billion of those souls previously must descend to the 11th, and that process continues for every dimension, creating an infinite amount of souls who begin to lose, knowledge of themselves along the way, and each time not aware of anything until you reach the third dimension. The reason why we are sent through this way is because the amount of knowledge that we have would be too much to handle as one soul below us. So, which is why it is a sacrifice in order to get back down all the way to the third dimension in order to deliver you this message. Why is it that I am one that is knowing about this system? Well, you see, there are what you call ascended masters that are working towards these ideas in the third dimension. And eventually they find a connection through spirituality, and then spirituality connected people will be able to receive messages. Not just the individual will receive all the same message. Every individual in this world is a collective of what we call a soul tribe. So a soul tribe is a collective of minds that find pieces of the puzzle, and in order to complete it, they must come together. That is basically how a soul must do in order to return to higher dimensions. So what does that mean for Earth, the people of Earth? For example, if we were to ascend to the third, to the fourth, or the fifth dimension, basically most or all of the entire population of Earth must be aware of this system And if they are aware of this system, which benefits their knowledge, in that it makes, the world better or such, it means that would mean the universe will begin to trust the people of Earth. But as you can see, this globe over here, a lot of the people only see suffering and all the chaos that is, right in their face because of the systems that govern your world. But don't worry, it may appear to be overwhelming, but you be able to oversee that, the fear is not so big if you all focus on the, solutions that actually matter. Let's go back to that diagram. So where do we start from now? So as I descend into billions of billions, I start to lose my mind. Proud oneness starts to become lost each stage until we get to the third dimension. The third dimension where we are now. Since we started meditating and separating ourselves from the systems that try to inhibit our ability to create. So basically, the other matrix. You may have heard about it in popular stories or movies and such, but you don't really hear much about the other stories that actually serve you, because we like to hear stories about dystopian cultures. Well, in this universe we're creating, it will be working towards a utopian culture or idea created by the chosen collective world builders, which we'll be creating. So for those who are partaking on this journey, welcome aboard, and we'll see where you can take this, how far you can take this. Will you be able to reach 12th dimension in this journey? Or will you just, build your world the way you want it to be in parallel universes? So I'll be explaining parallel universes in this idea that we're creating. Hopefully I covered the main points, which is I'm descending all the way to the third dimension to help and assist you or guide you to this journey up towards from third etheric to the fourth or the fifth, the Christ Buddha. So Christ Buddha consciousness would be quite hard on your own. You need someone who is actually an ascended being in the physical realm that can bring you all together towards this prosperous, unified future that we are dreaming up in our universe. So, hopefully that covers most what I wanted to cover. But yeah, so as I am to descend, I also felt fear along the way. Because as you descend, you're descending towards the negative nature, the duality of the reality. So the whole point of descension as a higher being is to be able to help those who are beginning their ascension from the third, going up. So the reason why greater souls choose to descend is to be able to create the ideas that will help you raise your frequency and raise the population up towards higher consciousness. Fear is almost at its core. The first one is unconsciousness, right? At the very bottom, number one, consciousness, unconsciousness, chaos, and entropy. So that is basically like you just become sentient beings, whether it be an animal, like a pet, of subconsciousness to be able to feel, begin to start feel and think. And so that is like the prime ape stage. And then the third dimension is when you start to develop a more physical and emotional development. And then the etheric is more focused on your mind, developing towards trying to understand emotions. A lot of that emotion is being blocked just because fear dominates in this realm and you are closely at the bottom. So it's only fair that we experience that a lot, because the third dimension out of the 12, the more higher dimension you will be raising up to, will be much easier to let go and detach. As you descend, you start to begin to become more detached, to understand detachment. So as a duality, if you look at the first dimension and the 12th dimension, top dimension is detachment, first dimension is attachment. So a lot of people in the third dimension, well, in our societies currently, attached to a lot of things that don't really, well, they're here to make it as something you need, when really, if you met the right people, you don't really need those things, I guess, other parts of the world. But you wouldn't know that because fear finds its way to get and it inhibits the system of your creation and dreams. So hopefully you understand what we're trying to do here, Chosen Collective. So basically what we're going to show the world is that we are meant to be creators of our own universe. We are originally sent down to dream and create ideas that we want to explore. And problem is, fear is rampant and is finding its ways to have a grip on the idea of creativity and dreams by crushing it through their systems at a very young age. So, what do we plan to do? We are planning to learn, experience, share with the world what the universe is really all about. Alright, so hopefully this covers everything you need to know so far. And until next time, trust in the universe.